Guys, it is the best time of the year. Barbell's annual free hoodie sale is here for a limited time. Get a free stealth hoodie with any order over $99. These premium hoodies are built to handle your toughest workouts with a sculpted athletic fit, moisture wicking, and odor resistant fabric. It's one of my favorite pieces of clothing to throw on, particularly for those early morning training sessions. Barbell Apparel has sold out of hoodies every year, so be sure to grab yours before they're gone. Join Barbell's community of athletes who make no excuses and settle for nothing less than the best, backed by a 365-day, no questions asked guarantee. Barbell's apparel is built to power whatever your workouts, work days, or your adventures demand. Simply go to barbellapparel.com/Chael to get your hoodie today, or just click on the link below. Adesanya, what should he do next? Should he take a break? That's really the question. It's not just a matter of what he should do next. Should he go and take a break because he's been too busy? You guys have heard of overtraining, right? Now, there aren't very many of you, in fairness, even the ones that have heard of overtraining, that could explain it back to me. If I had some kind of an awards process, or I'd give you some kind of money, or maybe a dinner round, just something reasonable, but I could put a camera on you, maybe we're going to zoom you in. If I say, who knows about overtraining, all the hands go up. If I say, well, who can come right here on Zoom, we're going to get you on this and explain it to me, not very many hands could go up. Now, no hands go up as soon as I say, show me somebody that's overtrained. That is where every hand in the room goes down. If I put it on you and personalize it, have you ever overtrained? Do you know anybody that's ever overtrained? Have you seen an overtrained athlete? No, 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 and no. Okay, but you've heard of it. Yes. Do you believe it's true? Do you believe it's possible? And that's where you get back on the fence. I do believe it's true, and I have seen an overtrained athlete, but boy, it took me a long time. It took me 35 years of searching until I found that guy, but it does exist. It's generally used by the lazy. It's generally used as a cop-out. We will lose more college athletes to going to the United States Olympic Training Center than anything else. Nothing kills college wrestling athletes like the Olympic Training Center, because at the training center, you have a version of an old man. And all an old man is in the sport of wrestling is anybody over 25. So you have a version of an old man all the way into the mid-30s. And to get by on a day-to-day, they've got to rest. They've got to put a focus on rest. When they're coming out with their training calendar, they're writing rest day. So if you're a college kid, you go out there, those guys can beat you. Now, those guys beat you purely out of maturity and nothing else, but you're not of an age old enough and enveloped and developed enough to understand that. You just know they beat me, and the one thing that they do that I don't do is rest. Therefore, I need rest. Well, you don't need rest when you're in college. You don't need rest until a very late age in life. At all. None. Zero. You could go from practice to practice to practice to practice to practice to workout to practice back over here to training all in one day. If you're 11 years old, it makes no difference. If you're 12 years old, if you're 7 years old, if you're 21 years old. Soon as you start hearing somebody that's an elite athlete telling you they need to rest, it becomes a problem. I'm bringing that to you because there is a massive narrative out there about Adesanya right now. That he's fought 4 times since July of last year. That's too much. The media schedule is too much. The EA Sports, for goodness sakes, they're putting him on it, and it's just too much. This is a belief. Now, any champion is going to have to take on that same schedule. Do you suggest to Adesanya that be the part that he let go? There's too many car rides. There's too many pictures being taken. He's got to stand like this too many times, and that cost him the belt. Is that what you really believe? Or do you understand that it's a matchup issue? Do you understand of all the people that fought him in kickboxing, got the word out, and everybody was scared to stand with Israel Adesanya? One guy wasn't scared. There was a very meaningfully different outcome. But that isn't just with Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya. I could tell you stories time and time again where you had that invincible striker who nobody would stand in the pocket with and strike with. And when they finally did, they hit him lots. And it changed the fight. And as beautiful as he looked doing it, and as good as he hit those mitts, and as great as his record was, when somebody steps in the pocket and decides they're going to trade on a night that you're convinced nobody's going to step in the pocket and trade because the last 10 guys got the same moment that this guy did, tend to have a lot of success. So as you're looking to go and you're looking to do a rematch, And there doesn't seem to be much of a way around it. There was nothing within that match that cried rematch. Nothing. There was when Izzy rematched Pereira, just by example. Izzy had been the longest reigning champion and so on and so forth. But off the top of my head, he just got his belt back from Pereira. Off the top of my head, this was Izzy's first title defense. So the fact that he didn't get the defense, there would be no reason to rematch it. It would also seem like this is a really good chance to get du Plessis into the mix. Du Plessis was supposed to have this fight and didn't want to have this fight, all because of a press conference that happened that backed him down off of his wheel. So you're faced with two things. Do I give du Plessis a situation that is only created due to the cowardice of du Plessis? Probably I don't. Or do I give du Plessis a situation and put him in a spot because Adesanya, the one he's most scared of, isn't here, and it's a good way to work him in. He represents a whole bunch of territory out there. Possibly an entire continent, claims an entire nation, right? Could be an interesting time. Probably isn't going to happen, which leads you back to the rematch. So if we are going to do a rematch, Ian Machado Gary says that said that Sean Strickland didn't do things right, but that it was Izzy that did them wrong. And I'd be very interested. It's the first time Ian Gary has sounded like he doesn't know what he's talking about. You will have guys that have a beautiful style. They're born with that. That comes down to their DNA. Somebody waved a magic wand over Adesanya and gave him a very pleasant style to watch. But they waved that same magic wand over Ian Gary. And if Ian Gary thinks for a moment that his hard work and his sacrifice was different than somebody else's hard work and sacrifice, and that's what got him to have some pep in his step and be able to turn those over and turn on that, turn right on the pivot of his foot, turn and get the shin down and turn the hip and get the hands up. It didn't. It was DNA. And Strickland didn't have that. Strickland's a brawler, but he spent just as much time in the training room as you did. And over a body of work, generally, the more beautiful style, the more tactical technician does win. But if you're going to be a brawler and you're going to do it with finesse, that wins out as well. Ask Mike Tyson. So it's one of these situations where I don't know what case we're going to come to a rematch. And we're not even going to try, by the way. Like, we're fiercely going to adhere to whatever rules we make up on the spot. I understand that. So let's get to the rematch. Talking about something in a rematch is going to be different. We did it your way the first time, which was stand-up 100%. It looks like we're going to do it that same way a second time, stand-up 100%. I'm not really understanding where the changes need to come from. Change an attitude, change your underwear, change how much you slept the night before, change the music you listen to. What exact change are you referring to?